Welcome back to my Fun2Play tier list. So this list is basically how fun the character feel, either the gameplay, the aesthetic, the skill rotation, whatever it is. This is based mostly on my personal experience. Some of the character I don't have yet, but still gonna give my own opinion on it. Let's get on to it. First, we have Albedo. Albedo is Geo, and Geo is not very fun reaction for me to play. But with the new arrival of Navia, I think Albedo would work pretty well with Navia, but I don't have him yet, so I don't technically know. He could be fun to use with Navia. I'll hate them. S tier, of course. Alhaitham is one of the best DPS character in the game. You do need to know his rotation to play him right, but that is a good thing for me. I do love a bit of skill in my gameplay, and Alhaitham does do a lot of damage, and that is nice. The moment you nail the rotation and you shred the enemies, ooh, so good. Next, Aloy. C tier. She doesn't have lore. Her appearance is not as good as other 5-star. She plays worse than a 4-star. Even if she's given for free, I refuse to play her. He just doesn't belong in the game. Ito. Ito, from what I've seen, he does seem fun to play, but this one problem is he Geo, and Geo is not a very fun reaction to play. I don't have him either, so I don't think I'm gonna pull for him anytime soon, especially since we have Navia now. Baizu. I don't have Baizu, but what I've seen, he is a solid healer and shielder. He worked especially well with Sino, but he seemed a little bit boring to me. I think all of the healer in the game is pretty boring, except for maybe Bennett because he's just broken. So if I were to get him, he would be in B tier. Right now I don't have him yet, so I'm not gonna go into specific about it. Sino. Sino has an extremely fun gameplay, but his damage is not there yet. Cool burst animation, cool attack animation, but the damage is not quite on par with that, and that's kind of put me off a little bit. So he's gonna be in A tier. Dia. This is a little bit of a bias for me, but I extremely enjoy Dia, even though her damage is not the best. But the way you play her is playing in a quick swap mono pyro team, and you can solve her energy problem. You can burst on cooldown, and my god, her burst is one of the best animation in the game, and I enjoying that so much. I'm gonna put her in S tier. I'm probably gonna be clowned on by this, but it's okay. It's a game. As long as I have fun with it, nothing matters, okay? Next, we have Diluc. Diluc does have a extremely fun gameplay, but the way he attacks is kind of slow for me. But I still think he's top tier just because he has the best skin in the game. It changed his attack, changed his sound effect. It's just so good of a skin, and when you play her, you feel good. And I would say he's top tier. Eula. I don't have Eula. She had the same struggle with Geo. She's physical, and her playstyle is you have to wait for a very long time until a big giant number. That's not quite satisfying, especially in the Abyss where you'd have speed run the content and clear it super fast. But her aesthetic is top tier for me. If I ever get a chance to get her, then maybe she's in B tier. I don't have her yet, so I don't know. Next, on one of our newest additions to the game, Furina. For me, Furina is extremely solid character. Her buff is just super huge, and you change to a new playstyle. You have to manipulate your HP in order to get her damage buff. It's quite new and refreshing after a long time playing Genshin. But if you think about it, her playstyle is not that fun. You just need to swap to her, use her burst, use her skill, and that's it. You're not even gonna get a chance to play her, right? Very solid character, easy to use, buff quite a lot, do a lot of damage, good character design, and great personality too. So she remaining A tier for me. Ganyu. I don't have Ganyu, but he definitely C tier. I'm not a big fan of the bow charging playstyle. It's just kind of boring, and I do play on controller, and aiming with a controller is miserable. So any bow charging playstyle is not gonna be on the top list. Maybe she is a good cry support. I don't know. I don't have her yet. I may have to test her out. Next, we have Hu Tao. Hu Tao is extremely fun to play. she deal a lot of damage, but she does struggle a bit with AoE content, and she also need you to pay attention to her stamina usage. She does use a lot of stamina, but I'm still having fun playing her. So any character that requires a bit of skill is a plus for me. C1 is definitely gonna be game changing. Next we have Jean. As I said before, healer is not fun most of the time. Jean does recently receive a buff with the appearance of Furina. She has a very good synergy with Furina kit where you have to heal a lot, and she also can equip the VV set to spread enemy resistance. But most of the time I'm not gonna use Jean. For me, a healer is good when you do other things other than healing, like Bennett boost attack, like Mika you boost attack speed. So right now Jean is probably in the B tier. Kazuha, the true Archon. Kazuha is extremely fun to use. He is very flashy in terms of bursts and skill animation. Extremely good for exploring too. His support capability is also top tier. He increases elemental damage quite a lot. Venti might be better for smaller enemies, but Kazuha is better for heavier enemies that Venti cannot crowd control. But regardless, he is extremely solid character, top tier, S tier. Ayaka. Ayaka is definitely one of my favorite DPS character. Her burst is extremely strong. Her charge attack is very flashy and I love it. But she does require you to set up her rotation correctly. You can definitely miss her entire burst and you feel confused so bad. But that is not a problem for me. I love her playstyle. She definitely top tier. Ayato. Before the Fontaine patch, I wouldn't use Ayato most of the time because he is not excel as on-field DPS. You wouldn't really want to play him off-field. When Fontaine came out, I decided to level up Mika, and surprisingly, Mika works really well with Ayato. You get a better satisfaction out of his elemental skill with Mika attack speed buff, and is quite nice. He bumped up a tier just because of that. He's remaining in A tier. Kaching. My god, Kaching is my first DPS character and I absolutely love it. She has a very quick and fast playstyle, especially if you play her in like Dendro team where you can quick swap constantly, using bursts, using skill on cooldown, and extremely fun to use. Because of that, you have a lot of invulnerable time using her bursts, so that you don't actually need a lot of defensive utility. That makes her viable in a lot of situations. And also, second best skin in the game, Kaching, still remain at my Electro Queen. Clee. I don't have Play. The reason I don't have Play is because I don't really want her. She's definitely in C tier for me. From what I've seen and when I demo her in game, she seems extremely clunky to use. Her attack is super slow. She's extremely cute, but I don't really want to play cute child character. I do see some people use her as a trolling tail buffer. I don't know if it's a meme or you can use other characters like Yanfei. I have not actually tried that play style yet, but she's definitely not my favorite. Lenny. Same thing, charge attack, bow user, not my style. He does deal a lot of damage when I try to demo him, and his elemental burst is also very nice. But do I want to get him anytime soon? I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna change anytime soon. Next, Mona. I do use her a lot in Morgana team with Yayaka before Furina came out. But now, since Furina is easier to use and she does buff quite a lot, I don't see any other reason to use Mona anymore. Except for maybe when you do like damage per screenshot showcase and stuff. I really like her design and her personality too. But in terms of fun to play, she does feel very clunky to rotate around. C tier. Nahida. Nahida is top tier dental support. If you have her, she's gonna open up a lot of potential for many different team comp, and she's amazing as a dental support. One downside I can think of her is her burst animation just lasts way too long, and it's kind of feel daunting sometimes to use that. But other than that, she's a top tier support. If you ever want to try a dental team, I would recommend going for her first. Navia, a new addition to the game, S tier. S tier. Geo element is sucks, but Navia as a character is just so fun to use. She deals massive damage with her elemental skill, and it's also got 2 charge. And it's also a different playstyle that you can use, utilizing the crystal light effect. She definitely one of the top tier DPS. She does need some of a good teammate for her, but if you have those support characters, she definitely deal a lot of damage and can feel it. And the gunshot effect when you use her elemental skill, oof, super satisfying. Top tier, S tier character, Nuvalet. Nuvalet is the king of Hydro for me. He's just a broken character. There's not much to say about him. He is extremely good DPS. He deals a lot of damage, and he can also self-sustain. There's not much DPS character can do that. He's probably the only character that you can reliably solo the entire abyss with just C0. He is definitely a flawless DPS character, except for maybe when the enemy is resist to Hydro. The one downside of getting him is he's just gonna make the game too easy. That's basically me right now. He's just so OP that I just want to use other character instead of him. Nilou. Nilou is kind of weird for me. Nilou is a team. It's not just a character. The bloom effect is extremely satisfying. You basically just see fireworks popping everywhere in every corner of the battlefield. She does struggle a bit with single targets bosses, but when she does work, it is extremely fun to use. Chichi. Chichi is definitely the character that I have the most constellation on. I don't know why every time I lose 50-50 I got a Chichi. She carried me through the early game, but right now healing equal boring. But healing does have a place with Furina right now. But I don't have a build anymore, and we have Mika, better healer. Chichi does not provide anything besides healing. C tier for me, and you can also use Jean if you decide to use a burst healer too. Raiden Shogun, I was so hyped when Raiden Shogun came out. She definitely have one of the best design, one of the best person animation. She does have a flexible role too, but she still does not give me the same vibe as Kaching. Kaching is still my favorite electro character. Raiden National is very solid team. Raiden is very solid character. I do heard that her C2 boosts her damage, like skyrocketed her damage. But for now, I don't think Raiden is the choice for me when I need an electro character. Kokomi. She's kinda in the middle between B and A for me, because Hydro is such a broken element. She can also be an on-fielder for my Nilou team, but she definitely not fun to use. I haven't tried DPS Kokomi yet, but I do heard that she can use Kokomi DPS with Furina. I do use her a lot with my Kaching team. She can provide off-field Hydro for Bloom, but now I'm gonna put her low A. Senha. Always want to try Senha with Ayaka team, and right now recently team 2 if I ever get a chance to get her. She definitely gonna be in A tier for me because she does boost a massive damage to all the cryo character. But right now I don't have her yet. I don't think her banner is coming back anytime soon. She does limited only to cryo team. That's gonna be a downside for anyone who don't have a cryo DPS. But for me, I really want her right now. Kyle. I definitely want Child when the game first came out, since he's the only Nitro DPS that we can have. But as time goes on, we have Ayato, we have Nuvalet. He suffer quite a lot with the skill cooldown, and I have a feeling that he might be very clunky to use. I don't have him yet. Oh, I don't know yet, but I think I'm gonna go for him in the future. Tanari. Tanari definitely C tier. As you might already know, Bo, Chartek, C tier. I do see his spread team con and it's deal a lot of damage, but it's just kinda not my vibe. Next, Traveler. This is just gonna be Dentro Traveler, since it's the only version that I'm using him. Even with the Dentro Traveler, I don't think I use them that much. I only use him in Nilou team specifically, or like an additional Dentro. Maybe until I get the Baizu, I might replace Traveler with Baizu. But for now, he is just B tier. Venti, that kind of hard. It's kind of hard to rank Venti. When he works really well, especially in like all the normal content, all the event content, where you have to fight multiple waves. He can boost up the process a lot, and also in the abyss, if there's a lot of small enemies and you have to clear them fast, Venti is the goal, but sometimes he cannot suck the enemies and it just feel quite bad. And I still constantly using him for easier content. So I would say he's still a very fun character for me. Wanderer. Wanderer is definitely one of the most unique characters in the game, the only character in the game that can fly, and he also does quite a lot of damage. But he does struggle because animal reaction is mostly for support. And right now the only animal support that you can reliably use is Frozen C6. Frozen before C6 definitely feel very energy hungry and not very smooth rotation. But in terms of playstyle, one of the definitely top tier. Presley, C1 specifically. Before C1, he is B tier, but with C1, he is top tier. He's the first character that can hit 100k consistently with his reverse melt team, and he also works very well with Priest team and Mika. And one thing I love about him is he is a catalyst user. That means all of his attack is infused with cryo. And that means no downtime, fast playstyle, and also very cool design. He's probably my favorite male character design in the game right now. Oof, one of the best character for me. Next, Xiao. Xiao is also one of the unique character playstyle. Probably the only character in the game that utilize plunge attack except for like Dragon Strike. And that is not very reliable, right? The Xiao is definitely unique and I like it, but other than the Abyss, there's nowhere that you actually use his elemental burst. It just takes a lot of energy and you basically kill anything in the overworld for like 2 plunge. And sometimes he does not deal enough damage to clear the abyss either. But he does have a very fun playstyle. So maybe until there is a dedicated 5-star animal support, then maybe he will be bumming up in top tier. But for now, I just put these two in the bottom of the S tier. Any of these is not really in order, but these two is in order. Yaimiko. Yaimiko is A tier. She is very pretty in all of her skill and animation is top tier, but the way she used her elemental skill, it's clunky and it takes too long. If she can put all of her 3 turrets instantly, she would be in top tier for me. So it's gonna bump her down 1 tier into A tier. But I do love her elemental burst. One of the most satisfying and cool looking elemental bursts. Next, Yelan. Yelan is very busted and I really want her. I miss her 2 times in 2 different banners. For now, I don't have her yet. It's kind of a bummer, but eventually I will be able to get her. Right. Next, Yoimiya. Yoimiya is definitely S tier because she's a bow user and she is not using charge attack. Though the reason I like her so much is because fast attack on few character is always the vibe for me. Same with Kaching, same with Risley, and she deal a lot of single target damage. But that's where she is struggling with. She's only good in single target content, but when she's good, she definitely work quite well, especially with the appearance of Furina too. Zhongli. Zhongli is definitely the other weird character for me. His buffing and shielding capability is S tier, but his playstyle is C tier. He is extremely boring to play, even though his burst animation is maybe top 5 for me, but you do not really use him for his burst, right? Only use him as a shield bot most of the time. So anytime I need a shield, I will use him, but I don't really want to use him. It just made you forget how to dodge. It's just conflicted when I think about Zhongli. So I would put him in high A tier. I definitely use him a lot, but more like easier way out. Okay, so this is basically my fun to play tier list. I do have a lot of S tier character in here. Maybe it's just that I really like Genshin playstyle. Let me know in the comment.